So if you have many files or audio tracks that you've downloaded, and you'll notice that they have a very repetitive track name to them, or there's something extra on it that you don't want. So in this situation, I've got a number and the artist's name, and I do not want the artist's name in front of the track. I just want the track because the information of the artist is already embedded inside the track. So I don't need this here, and it just looks cluttered and disgusting overall. So, as most people know, you can bulk rename things already in Windows by simply right-clicking. Once you've selected all your files, you're going to rename and calling them something like file, and then it numbers them off sequentially with a number after the name, so they've all become file. But in a situation like this with audio, where you want to maintain the title's name, that doesn't work because you can no longer read what they actually are until you open it in the application, which is quite a pain. So we don't want to do that. Instead, what we're going to use is something called bulk rename utility, and this is a very advanced utility, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty simple. So what this does is you can simply select a bunch of files that you want. So for instance, we've got these 21 right here. You can go ahead and select them all, right click, go to bulk rename here. It adds this little extra thing into your right click menu, and you come up into a rather breathtaking application because there is a lot of options down here that you can work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to select everything right here, and we're going to go ahead and enter what we want to get rid of. So we've got, in this situation, Peter Gabriel, and if this was at the end of the track, say it was after Troubles, it doesn't matter. If it was at the beginning or the end, no worries. We're going to replace, using our replace thing right here, and type in Peter Gabriel. Oop. And you can see that in the new name, it's already begun disappearing, and it's showing what it'll look like. And there you go. What we wanted to get rid of has been removed because we haven't replaced it with anything. You could add something to the with column. Say we want to replace it with Khalid, then you can. It'll replace it all with Khalid, as if you wanted to. So we don't want that though. So we just want to get rid of it, so we'll leave the with blank. So now we have a couple of numbers here that we no longer want, and they look rather ugly because they don't have a period after each one. So there's nothing dividing the name from the numbers, so it looks kind of disgusting. So what I like to do is I like to go over to add and put dot, and then at the position of 3, since this is 1, 2 characters. So we're going to insert this at position 3, and as you can see, it now looks somewhat decent. The title names now all look somewhat usable and appealing to the human eye. So once you got all that ready, what you're happy with, you can go ahead and click rename. Okay. There you go, all your files have been renamed. It's a very useful application, and I'm going to show another example right here in just a second. Alright, so in this situation here, we've got 2 different CD files, and this is often common as well, where you'll have numbered tracks 1 to 5 on one CD, for instance, and on a second CD, you'll have 1 to 5 again. So if you were to drag and drop these outside, they'd get all confusing and jumbled up. So what I like to do in this situation is I like to drag out the ones that started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out into the main folder, and then in CD2 we want to select all of them, and then go to bulk rename here. Go ahead and destroy any numbers. Now if there are numbers in the title name, this will not work quite as well, obviously. And go ahead and list off all the numeric numbers and select your things, and there you go. You can see that it's removed all the numbers that we want. So we want to switch these into continuing on from our last CD. So if we see here, we are continuing from 5. So we want to number them off starting at 6, since we resumed from 5, and we want to put them at the beginning, so we'll use them as a prefix, like so, and again select them off. Then you can go and see that it says 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we can go ahead and rename those. Okay, there you are. And when you go ahead and drag and drop, you go ahead and drag and drop your files inside the CD out into the main folder, they will be numbered off correctly. So now you don't have to have them in 2 separate CD folders. It's a very, very powerful, it looks a little bit complicated, but I just want to share this with you. It's a very, very useful renaming application. Hope you found this somewhat useful, and I'll see you next time.